One measurement of the progress of any administration is how well the government has fared in the fight against corruption. In this episode of News Connect, I'll sample the views of some Ghanaian students on the matter. My name is Akosua Ofewaa Opoku, and you're watching News Connect on Citi TV. Stay tuned. Define corruption in your own words.
In my own words. Why is it to be like saying something and doing something else? Like doing it the other way around. Maybe for instance, like the free SHS like this. Some people had good grades but they couldn't get school. But those who had bad grades, because of they have money and stuff, they find a way out, and then those who had the good grades are rather in the house suffering.
I think corruption is any form of dishonesty that goes on with authorities, people in positions for their personal gains. Sometimes your parents, mother, ask you to get something from daddy through dubious means. Probably that you don't really get, that is not what actually you want, but mommy will get you to ask daddy for it for a personal gains, and that is corruption. So I think corruption starts back from our homes, and then we are trained with it. Mommy will ask you to go and take something from daddy. Meanwhile, that is not what you actually need, but yes. So I think corruption actually starts. There are quite a number. We have the Amerido. When it comes to our national politics, we have most of them in our mining sectors.
In simple terms, I would define corruption as changing the state of something to suit you. I recall when we were going to our senior high schools, there were instances people who didn't qualify. We found ourselves to be in the same classrooms with them. How do they get there? They will tell you we came through the back door and what have you. By means of seeing the headmaster and what have you, trying to get their means into it.
When it comes to the business circum, like going to get all the approval from the FDA, the Ghana Standards Authorities and all that, I'm saying this on authority because there's so much of corruption that goes in there. Why? Because when you go, if you don't drop like a white envelope, you just know that they wouldn't even respond to your whole case. I want to approve my share butter, my honey. If you see the kind of like trauma I have to go through, because like unless you come and then give something aside from the required amount of money you have to pay all this. When you're coming to like a sport, the kind of like corruption that goes in there, if you don't drop certain like envelopes to some offices, you wouldn't be allowed.
One that has just been in my mind for quite a while is football, when one of, I don't really remember, but one of the heads, yes, in GFA, he paid someone or he bribed someone to let a player play. He was not supposed to play or something. Yeah, I can't remember that one. And I think it wasn't really very good. It was really unfair. Yes, he was not supposed to play, so there is no way he should have.
People giving authority or power in the society tend to misuse their power, giving position to people who do not deserve it, giving like things to people due to their own personal gains they will get from it. Yes, these are some of the examples I see in society, and it's very rampant at the moment. Yes, please.
Have you encountered any, or have you been at the losing end of a corrupt practice?
Yes, please, in my own personal way. Yes, I have.
Okay, can you tell me about it?
Okay, let's just say I kind of deserve the position, and then actually because somebody knew the person in authority, the position was given to her.
People at their workplaces normally, let's say sometimes, embezzle funds. In both the private sectors and the government sectors, there are some people who also they embezzle funds, and there are others too who falsify bills and other things. Others also add, let's say, zeros to an amount of money and other corrupt practices. But apart from that one too, there are also some corrupt practices like, let's say, for instance, the policemen that stand by the roadside who collect the monies from the drivers and other things. All these things are illegal.
Looking at road construction, it's alleged people take money from constructors before certain roads are done. And you can see this is clearly a case of corruption, because whereby those money can be channeled into improving the quality of our roads. This thing is changed because someone has to take a certain percentage of the road contract before you are awarded the contracts.
What has the government, in your view, done, the government of the day, that is, done to combat or fight corruption?
Okay, a typical example is the setting up of the special office of the special prosecutor. But even with that one, you can't say much has been really done because the president has failed in certain regards to even channel setting, because we hear cries of the special prosecutor talking of getting logistic to fight corruption. Even people in power now are not willing to even allow their own people to be investigated.
I think we need to create an anti-corruption law. Yes, a law that really checks. And I think I want to commend His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa, for the institution of a special prosecutor position in the administration. Yes, I think it has helped kept the corruption in our country. And I think when we create things like that and we make them more accountable, we are going to help reduce the corruption rate in our country.
The first thing I will talk about that I would applaud the current government about is the RTI, the Right to Information Bill. It has been long-standing for almost 2 decades now, and then this current government has passed that RTI that would compel those in public offices to provide the necessary information to media people, just so in case or probably there is an issue in court that certain informations are needed, they could get them because of that bill, the right to the information. I could personally walk into any ministry, request for an information that I think I needed for a progress or what have you. And so the right to information bill and then the setup of the office of the special prosecutor is one thing that I will commend the current government. Although there might be lapses, but it's not easy coming up with such an office. And so I will commend the current government for setting up the office of the special prosecutor.
Well, okay, like bringing to the public on the maybe effect of corruption, what is really doing to the country. You know, some people are naive, they don't know. Like they see it to be some normal thing that everybody's doing. But if you have to educate them on what corruption is and why we shouldn't do it, I think it will. And also rallies, campaigns, and even on the television and then radio too. We can all broadcast everything about corruption. I think it will put a stop to it.
What I consider to do is to keep a key attention on the public domains, as in the authorities, the governmental authorities that are in charge of the different operations, maybe in business or whatever. They should make sure that they ensure that the right thing is done. Especially like those who are taking like aside the required amount of money to pay for some service or whatever to be rendered. Those who are taking some envelopes along the line, they should be able to keep some checks up like in place to be able to know that they can trap those kind of people and deal with them appropriately, because I think that is where the corruption really is felt.
The investigations, I think at a point I'm not hearing about it anymore. After I think Ahmed died, that guy, yes, I've not been hearing it. So he should just continue doing what he started doing when he came to power, because it was really helping. People were scared, people were really afraid. Those who were making the country really corrupt, they were really scared and they were abstaining from it. Yes, so if he continues to do that, I think that it will go on well for this country.
I think first of all, we need to check those in power and authority. Before we give it to them, we need to show them the rules and the regulations. We need to tell them what they should do, because most of them just get a position due to people's help. They don't know the effect of the position they are holding. They don't know how it's going to influence others. So they knowing the position they are holding, the main authority that they are supposed to give in, well, I'm sure will help them, get to handle the position better.
And that would be all for this episode of News Connect. My name is Akosua Ofewaa Opoku. This is Citi TV. Keep watching.